What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Bush. Today we are gonna be talking about how I got my dream bike at 20 years old. So, let's just jump right into it. I'm waiting for my friends to pull up, so whenever they get here, we'll start riding. But to get to the story, well, get a little background on myself. I'm always a go-getter as far as when it comes to wanting things that I want or getting things getting things that I want. So if I want something, I'm gonna work extra hard for it. I'm going hard all day, all night, side jobs, whatever I gotta do. Sounds like I hear him pulling up now. Whatever I gotta do to get what I want. So with that being said, I used to work at a golf course making terrible minimum wage. But then I got my quote-unquote dream job, being a firefighter, and that's when I started getting a real check. So once that happened, I started gathering my money up, saving. Plus, living with your parents helps out a lot too. Yo! We'll get back to you once we start riding. Alright, the guys are here. Gang. So, better go ride around for a little bit. Then we're gonna come back downtown and hit a baseball game up, get a beer or two, just chill, you know. So back to the story. Living with your parents helps out a lot with saving your money, because your expenses aren't really high up there. I mean, I pay for my phone bill, my food, stuff like that, stuff from my job. I pay for all that, clothes, everything. And then the thing about it is, I didn't want to buy a new BMW S1000. I wanted to buy one that was used, a little bit older as well, because I knew they're going to be a lot more reliable than newer vehicles, because then you have just issues running into that. And I also didn't want to, my main thing was, I didn't want to dump a bunch of money into a bike. But I ended up dumping so much money into this bike, that's a whole other video. But yeah. So my thing was, I was gonna find one on the marketplace and just gonna go look at it. I wasn't gonna pull the trigger, but then, so at first I wasn't gonna pull the trigger because it was the one I was looking for too. Older, didn't have a lot of miles on it, but it was just far away. It was in Florida, and I'm in Alabama, so I'll either have to ride it back, or have to take a U-Haul and trailer down there to go get it. Now, needless to say, the one I did find was 2 hours away in Dothan, Alabama. But I went ahead and pulled the trigger on buying that one when I should have just waited, honestly. But so I drove down there, I looked at it, I test drove everything, And the guy told me the only thing that's wrong with it, it needs a new rectifier. So he already bought the rectifier. All he had to do was wait for it to come in the mail and ship it to my house. So it drove good. It sounded amazing. And he said that was the only thing that he said was wrong with it. Now, he did say he had an issue with the battery or something like that he couldn't figure out, and he was told that was the rectifier, so he bought one. Turns out it was, in my opinion, I think he knew about it. It was the stator that was bad, and it was going to cost him $1,400 to get it fixed, plus labor. So I didn't find that out until after I bought the bike and got it back to my house. Took it out for a ride after I got the rectifier, and it died on me in traffic. So, with that being said, if you're going to buy one off a marketplace, just be aware of that the seller could be scamming you, low-key. Like, I wouldn't say scamming me, but at the same time I would, because what he sold it to me for. So he sold me this bike for $9,500, right? 2011 BMW S1000RR. It had 42,000 miles on it. That's not bad. That's not that bad, right? Because my FC07 is 2016. It was damn near new when I bought it, or when my dad bought it for me. And I put 30,000 miles on it myself because it was a daily rider, right? I was driving to school, to work, everything on that thing. So yeah, it wasn't that bad in my opinion. But so yeah, and then the place I took it to get the rectifier, or not the rectifier, the stator put on and everything, they were so backed up with work and everything, so it took so long for them to give me my bike back. It took maybe like a month for me to get my actual bike back from the dealership I took it to bring it back to my house. Like a month and a half, a month-ish, somewhere around there. But yeah, I mean, it's not your biggest thing. If you don't come from a family that doesn't ride, then you're gonna have to convince your parents, save your money, like be exact for what you're looking for, like have a lot of questions lined up for the seller, and go look at it, go sit on it, test drive it, like everything. Like you have to go the whole 9 yards, because like I was telling my buddy who just bought a bike, you are risking everything, and I mean everything, when you buy a used bike. Not just your life, but everything else, your job, your career, your relationships with everybody. Like that motherfucker can kill you. Like if like one bad move on that thing, if you didn't go get it serviced or looked at by a professional, that thing can kill you. But with that being said, I did all that, and I still somehow got scammed low-key. So yeah, like I was saying, I bought it for $9,500, had to replace the stator. It was all burnt up, and had to do that, so that was $1,400. Oh, and then guess what, when I took it there, they said something else was wrong. My clutch cable was frayed, so I had to get another clutch cable. It was $150. Then had to that was labor as well. Mind you, they're still backed up. So and then plus, I think, in my opinion, mechanics take their little sweet time when they are putting on motorcycle parts. Now I've done a few of my own motorcycle parts after I got hit on this bike, like shortly after I got it back. A lot of that stuff does not take that long. But I would say that, oh, like I was saying, so they found out my clutch cable was frayed, and I needed another clutch lever, because the ones he had on here, they didn't have the bushing that goes in the clutch little hole or whatever, and so it was pulling on my clutch cable, and that's what made it fray. And so yeah, I had to buy all that. It was coming out of pocket, and that was really hurting my feelings. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do for your dream bike. I was going all in. I wasn't scared to do that. But yeah, I mean, if you have a good, like, if you convince your parents, like, even if you're grown, I mean, your parents are still gonna be like, oh, I don't want you getting a bike or whatever. But you know, it's totally. I mean, they kind of have a say so. They can advise you not to, but at the same time, if you're grown, it's your money. You can do whatever you want. Now, if you live under their roof, that's a little bit different. Like with me, I bought my own bike, and I lived under my parents' roof, and I don't want to get off right here, do I? Nah. Okay, I was about to say. But yeah, if you live under their roof, it's going to be a little bit of, you're going to be on a little bit of a struggle bus, if I do say so myself, of trying to get approval and everything. But yeah, there's really not much to it. Just be very cautious of buying bikes, because a lot of times people put like heavier oils in these bikes and they race them every single day. They dog them out, and they're no good once they sell them, and they won't tell you any of that stuff. Like that guy who I bought my bike from, I'm pretty sure he knew that the stator was bad, because he said something about the battery and the rectifier, and he didn't, I don't think he said anything about charging systems specifically, but he did say it'll drain a battery pretty quick. So I was like, okay, I'll have to look into that. I'm still going to buy it though. So yeah, other than that, there's really not much to like buying a used bike. Like my buddy just got gypped off of his bike, and I mean gypped. I told him, like, that the dude told him everything ran fine. He only took it out twice. Like after he bought it, he couldn't ride no more. Yada yada yada. Bought an R6 2005 for $38.50. And I told him, hey man, go get it serviced so they can look at it, like a professional can put his eyes on it and can tell you what's wrong with the bike. And I knew off rip he's going to need probably a new chain, definitely new tires, because his tires were bald, like super bald. I'm going to need those two things. We replaced the oil, and other than that, I think he was all right. So yeah, so that, and then so just recently, like 3 or 4 days ago, we were out riding. We didn't even make it down the road. Like where are they going? Are they getting over? Hit it, Andy, hit it. We gotta get off. But yeah, he didn't even get it looked at, so his chain broke and ended up slapping his oil filter, and he lost all of his oil, and slapped off a part that he needed that goes on his engine, and so he was stuck in the middle of the road. Well, he pulled up to the side, and luckily he didn't get full coverage on his insurance, but he got just basic liability, and he didn't get full coverage, but he put the towing package on there, which is a good thing, because the insurance company paid for the tow truck. Yeah, so the insurance paid for the tow truck. They came and got it, and so they towed it to his friend's house, because that's the thing, his parents don't even know he has this bike, and he won't listen to me when I tell him, just tell them, like, you have it already. Like, what can they do, make you sell it? And if that's not the bad thing, if you sell it, you get your money back, and will possibly get all your money back. And not only that, you can get a bike that's actually worth something, that'll last a little bit longer, and you won't have to dump a bunch of money into. But he won't do that. Like, he's still fixing it right now. He possibly has to get the piece welded back on there, yada yada yada, whatever. But we're getting away from the story, but yeah, I feel bad for him. It was his first bike. I told him the risks of buying a used bike. Unfortunately, he wanted the bike so bad, he wouldn't wait till I got off work the next day. Because I'm a firefighter, I work 24/48, and he wouldn't wait until I got off work to go look at the bike with him. So, you know, if it was me and I was there with him, I would have told him don't buy that bike. But he bought it anyways. The pictures look freaking great, but like for an older bike. But you know, the owner didn't tell him anything about the chain and all that. But it's also on my buddy's part that he didn't go get it serviced like I told him to. But with all that being said, guys, I can't stress this enough. Be wary of who you're buying from, how old the bike is, and like stuff like that, because if not, you're gonna get gypped on your bike, and the other guys are gonna run away with your money and block your number possibly. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't really know what else goes into me getting my own dream bike. But yeah, it sat in my garage for like, so I got it in November. I finally took it up there to Birmingham to get my bike looked at in January. So it had been sitting there for months, for like a month and a half, almost two, like roughly somewhere around there. And so yeah, it hurt me a lot to just sit there and look at my bike and not being able to, because I was debating if I should just go ahead and take it up there, because I was wanting the dude to actually pay for the stator, and I was going to put it on myself, but he wouldn't do that. He was just playing dumb the whole time, like he didn't know what else was wrong with the bike. So I don't blame him. And then that was another thing. When I went to go get his bike registered, I looked at how much he paid for it, because it was on his old title. He paid $3,500 for this bike, y'all. $3,500. Now that doesn't account for if he put money into the bike, or if he put money into it, custom parts and all that. I don't really care, but it's just the fact of he paid $3,500, made me pay $9,500. Like, value doesn't go up because you put custom parts on there. Amazon parts, Revzilla parts, it doesn't matter. Like, the value is never going to go up on a used vehicle, especially after it has multiple owners. But that's just something that came with me living life, and I knew after I bought my bike that he kind of got me on the price. I should have talked him down a little bit, especially for the bike having charging system issues. I wish I would have known that. I definitely would have talked him down a little bit, or tried to. Bro, it is so hard for me to find neutral on this bike. Like, sometimes I have to turn the damn bike off just to put it in neutral, but I don't do that when I'm riding. It's only when I'm stopping. Alright, y'all, see you guys in the next video. Ride safe, wear your gear, and don't forget, like, subscribe, share the video with everybody else. Deuces.